The Philadelphia Eagles lose an absolute heartbreaker in overtime against the Chargers on the road, and they now fall to 8-5. They have lost 3 consecutive games, and this one felt like the moment, the opportunity. Which Eagles team were we going to see? Would it be the Eagles team from 2024 and the beginning of this year that knew how to win games and pull them out? Or would it be the Eagles team that we have seen shades of the last couple weeks, which, let's be honest, is not good and does not come up big in the big moments, does not make the big play, and looks around everybody else to be the answer and really just does not show up? So the Eagles lose this game. I have a pit in my stomach. I want to throw up. It feels every bit of 2023 right now. I'm literally sick, as you can probably hear. It's late. I can't believe they made us stay up for that game. And that game made me even more sick. So where do we start? There's a lot I want to say. The Eagles lost this game not because of overtime and not because of one player or the other. They lost this game because the quarterback was terrible. They made terrible decisions. They didn't coach well. They're not coached well. They are undisciplined. They make the worst mistakes in the worst times possible. They have no rhyme or reason to what they do, and they have no flow to this offense. That is why ultimately they lost this game. But let's go to the fourth quarter, because the Philadelphia Eagles are battling all game. The offense is essentially doing nothing. And the Philadelphia Eagles in the fourth quarter get a big play from Saquon Barkley. It is a 52-yard bomb on the first play of the fourth quarter, and the Eagles take the lead 16-13. And what do you know? A tush-push variation. They pitch it out wide, and Saquon Barkley in space. By the way, they did that in the first half, and what did Saquon do? 8-yard run, 10-yard run, 19-yard run. They were getting him on that outside run, and he was breaking off a little bit. So for all the questions about, is Saquon washed? No, he's not. He just needs a competent offensive line and a competent play caller. But anyway, he takes one to the house, and then the Eagles go away from it. They gave him 1 carry in the third quarter. They had 13 rushes for Saquon in the first half for, I believe, 67 yards. He was averaging something like 5.4 a carry. He was running well. They went away from it. They give it to him in the fourth. He breaks one off. But anyway, the Chargers then come down the field, and they don't score. Britton Covey with a couple big punt returns in this game. Then the Philadelphia Eagles are moving down the field, and it feels like, okay, you can seal the game with this drive. Jalen throws it to A.J. a little bit high, but it goes right through the hands of A.J. Brown. And it's interesting because later on in the fourth quarter, Jalen Hurts bombs one down the left sideline, and it goes right through the hands of A.J. Brown, right in the breadbasket. It was actually a dime from Jalen Hurts, who played an awful game, and we'll get to him. But A.J. Brown dropped 2 big plays that would have ultimately sealed this win. And for as much as A.J. has talked about being that vocal guy on the offense, wanting to be a big part of the offense, you can't come up and drop those 2 big plays to essentially lose the game. You know, those would have ended it. You have to be the man. But anyway, the ball is intercepted. The Chargers then come down. They kick a field goal. So then the Eagles end up going 3 and out. And the Chargers get the ball back, 5.5 to go. Justin Herbert gets sacked, and we'll talk about the defense in a bit because they were every bit of special in this game. They did everything that they could. But anyway, the Eagles then get the ball back. Jake Elliott comes down the field, kicks a 44-yard field goal. So then with a couple minutes to go, Eagles need one stop, and they don't get it because on a third down, Quinyon Mitchell is called for a pass interference, and he played a tremendous game against Ladd McConkey. But on the biggest play of the game, once again, the Eagles do not come through. Justin Herbert, a couple tough scrambles, and you know what? Credit to Justin Herbert. He ran for 66 yards in this game, and I didn't think he was going to run once with the broken non-throwing hand, and he was every bit of tough. And he made big plays, and the Eagles didn't take him out, and he just continued to make winning plays. Kind of what we've seen from Jalen Hurts in the past. So anyway, the game ends up going to overtime, and the Chargers end up coming down the field, and they kick another field goal. And I know people are mad at the defense, but you know what? They faltered because they were absolutely winded yet again. Time of possession, 38-29 in this game. The Chargers ran 71 plays. The defense kept trying to bail this team out. The defense had 7 sacks today. They had an interception. They had 2 forced fumbles. They made play after play after play. And for the entire 3.5 quarters, like we see every week now, the offense stalls. Kevin Patullo has no rhyme or reason within the offense. Today, Jalen Hurts was absolutely brutal, and the defense was making big play after big play to keep them in this game, but they just couldn't hold up. But anyway, they hold them to 3. So then the Eagles get the ball back. They're coming down the field. Jalen Hurts has a big run, but once again, negated by a penalty from Cam Jurgens. After that, Jalen makes a big 3rd down throw to Devontae Smith. I believe it was 28 yards. Now they're getting into field goal range. They get there. Hey, it's 4th and 4. What are the Eagles going to do? 61 yards. They say, okay, we'll go for it. And what do you know? The Chargers throw them a bone. Neutral zone infraction. Eagles now have a fresh set of downs. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're actually going to win this game. The Chargers just gave it to them. And on a 1st down at the 17, instead of just, I don't know, maybe picking up a few yards or keeping it short, the Eagles try a bootleg, and Jalen Hurts throws it, I think, off of 1 foot, and the ball gets tipped up into the air. The Chargers player, whoever it was, made a great play, but I feel like they were trying to do too much at once, and Jalen Hurts loses the game with his 4th interception, and this might have been the worst game I've ever seen from Jalen Hurts. The timing was off. The decision-making was off. His throws were off. I think that the Kevin Patullo offense has broken Jalen Hurts, and I'm not trying to just absolve Jalen for any blame. He deserves a lot of it. But week after week, when you go through the types of games that you do, and you don't score for quarters at a time, and your offense is historically bad, and all your receivers do is run hitch routes and crosser routes, and you have absolutely no unpredictability within this offense, you get to a game like today where you actually start incorporating a few elements, right? I saw more motion, more under center, but then they went away from it in totality when it worked. And I just feel like there's just been so much thrown at Jalen Hurts. He has to play a lot better, but I don't know if there's any coming back from this offensive system. And it resembles exactly what we saw in 2023. So they can bring a positive vibes bunny or whatever the hell they want into the locker room, and Nick Sirianni could start putting his input in on the offense. But guess what? It's too little too late, because you have now screwed up the mental clock of Jalen Hurts. He is not the same quarterback this year, and I think based on the route combinations and the offensive line play and Saquon not being able to get going and all these different things, he has now turned into a turnover-prone quarterback in the last couple of games. And his decision-making was at an all-time low today. I mean, it was just absolutely brutal. I mean, Jalen Hurts had 1 interception leading up to the bye week. All the talk was about Jalen and how smart he's playing and how he doesn't turn the ball over. And today he had 5 turnovers himself, and that's just never going to win. I thought that they weren't able to get into a rhythm. They finally established a run game. They went away from that. A.J. Brown got his yards, 100 yards, 6 catches. But guess what? Every time A.J. hits 100 yards, they don't win the damn game. I thought they could have hit Devontae Smith a little bit more. They tried to go to Dotson a few times. They had Darius Cooper out there for 1 catch. But again, I just don't understand what they do. Like I said, early in this game, you saw Saquon Barkley start to establish a rhythm. So what do they do the next 3 drives? They come out and they run it up the middle on 1st and 10. Stop running the damn ball up the middle. It doesn't do anything. It's not going to get this team anywhere. And I mean, I could just see what's coming. And at the end of the day, they're just not a good offense. Like, I keep scratching my head looking at all the weapons on the field, but I'm like, why can't they get anything going? Because, like, they're just not good. They're just not good this year. And you look at the other side, I mean, nobody really did anything crazy for the Chargers. Vidal had 1 60-yard catch, which was on a pass to the flat. Herbert ran for 66, but they didn't do much offensively. But the Eagles' offense just continues to stall. At the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles just continue to shoot themselves in the foot. There are so many plays I can look at in this game and say, how are you that undisciplined? The big Jalen Hurts run in overtime, negated by a holding penalty. Let's go back earlier in the game. Chargers come out with a 9.5-minute drive to start the second half, but it should not have been that long. There was a 4th and 4, I believe. They kick a field goal, and Moro Ajomo gets a 15-yard penalty for using his hand as leverage to jump over the center. That can't happen. Let's go back earlier in the game. The Philadelphia Eagles, after moving the ball all the way down the field, get inside the 5-yard line. It's 1st and goal at the 2. They don't do the tush push, the one play that has been automatic for them. They try to outthink themselves and get too creative, and by doing that, they make themselves look like fools. So on 2nd down, they're throwing the ball for some reason. They throw a touchdown. That gets negated by a holding penalty by Jordan Mailata. And yeah, it was a really weak call, but I mean, you just can't do that in those type of moments. And then right before halftime, the Eagles get an interception. Adoree Jackson gets thrown to the ground for a 15-yarder, and they're moving down the field, and Jake Elliott misses a 48-yard field goal that essentially would be the game winner, would have never went to overtime. So there's just so many things that this team does on a weekly basis that really frustrates me. And at this point in time, this was an absolute crushing heartbreaker. You can say that they can come back from it. They have easy opponents coming up on the schedule. But how can you be confident in this team to win any game with the way they're playing offense right now? Nick Sirianni stood his ground. He said, I'm going to put more input in this week, and I'm not going to change play callers. Well, you had the same result. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. It does not seem like anybody's having fun. And I'll tell you what, I am not having fun either. The Philadelphia Eagles have 8 touchdowns over the past 5 weeks. Only the Raiders have scored less with 7. Chip Kelly was their offensive coordinator, and now he's fired, by the way. So that is just absolutely embarrassing. And to go back to what I said about the under center thing, I mean, they started to get a little creative, and this was at halftime. The Eagles had run 8 plays under center. They were averaging 9.4 yards a play. In the shotgun, with 29 plays, they were averaging 3.2 yards per play. But again, they went away from what worked. So overall, man, just a very poorly coached team, undisciplined, and it's surprising knowing that they were the world champions last year and have most of the same players on the team. So just a brutal way to go down. The Eagles fall to 8-5. Give me your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. As always, I will catch you on the next one.